Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road, and you're ready to go. For joining us today, Live Music Nation podcast. I'm your host, Jake Gill. Today, we are with Sarah D from the Tabor Opera House in Leadville, Colorado. Sarah, how are you?
I'm excellent. Thanks for asking.
Right. So we talked a little bit earlier. You're stuck in the mountains, which is a horrible place to be in the summer. And tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Sure. I am a mom, first of all, of 4 kids. My oldest is 21. I have a son in the Coast Guard. The last 7.5 years, I worked as the administrative services manager for the city of Leadville, was the mayor's wrangler, and I helped the city purchase the Tabor Opera House out of private ownership and just got the bug and love for this beautiful building. And the foundation approached me this spring and asked me to come on as their executive director.
So this just happened.
This just happened. I've been at the helm since May of this year.
Wow. What was their motive? What was the drive for them to purchase and start running this?
Well, the city's owned the building since 2016. So the building itself is fantastic. So Leadville is situated in the highest incorporated city in North America at 10,200 feet. We have a boom and bust story. The tales of the Tabor are really fascinating in and of itself. And the building basically was saved from being demolished in the late 50s, early 1960s from the Elks, who owned it at the time. And Evelyn Furman was ahead of her time and was a woman passionate about place and buildings and history. And so she purchased the building so that it wouldn't be demoed into a parking lot. And her family kept the building going as they could for 60 years. And they were just ready. Her daughter was ready to sell it. And there was a time of the community not knowing what was going to happen. And so we galvanized, and our mayor at the time decided to strike a deal to buy it. And I worked with him and others in the team to grant write and fundraise so we could purchase the building.
Oh, fantastic. What, as the venue it looks at now, what are your activities? What are your hosts? What events do you do?
Sure. So COVID, of course, threw us all for a loop, and we were shuttered for 2 years, but we've always been open, at least for tours. So it's been in operation for 143 years, which is super exciting. We brought back our comeback season this year of just 5 events. So we have some challenges. We don't have heat yet in the primary auditorium building, which can be a challenge at 10,200 feet in a place that has, arguably 2 winters a year.
Right.
So we are working towards expanding that through our rehabilitation efforts and activating the space. But this year we were able to bring on 5 events. We had a singer-songwriter in the round in June with Clay Rose of the Gasoline Lollipops, who hosted that. So we did kind of a strategic workshop in the daytime, and then a singer-songwriter in the round presented to the public in the evening. Then we had a really immersive, interesting experience where we activated the entire building for the Ghosts of the Tabor tour, which was a 2-night in July. And basically we had performers, whether they are dancers or actors or singers or performers, with musicians, like we had some violins and some guitars activated in all kinds of unique places in the whole building. And then they did a shadow theater on the stage. So our stage is really an 1880s hemp house with the hemp ropes that come down that we've been replacing to more modern rope systems. We have the largest collection in North America of historic scenery dating from 1879 to 1906 in pristine condition, probably in the world, if it not at least North America. And that's a nice backdrop for people to experience. We had a Latinx Fest July 31st, and we're going to close out the season with Hazel Miller and Corey Morin, a doubleheader on August 27th.
And then you're going to shut down from fall through. That's good. That's good. So give me an idea. What type of heating system are you guys going to market for, and what is it the facility need? What's that entail?
Well, we are undergoing a multi-year, multi-million dollar project, probably in the neighborhood of $15 to $20 million. But we have been able to move the needle to at least secure the bricks. And so we're in our phase 2 rehab project right now. It's $1.3 million. We just wrapped a $1.3 million project on the other 2 walls. So probably we need a full entire mechanical system, elevator system, more, current bathroom systems, etc. We do have heat. It's just that the type of forced air heat doesn't allow for it to be going on while performances are happening. And so it can get rather chilly. Oftentimes it's colder inside the building than outside in the winter months because it's 3 bricks thick. And so you'd have to be bundled up pretty good. But we're tough and we're gritty in Leadville. So now that I've been hired and started, I'd really like to push the board to figure out ways to be activated throughout the season and utilize the building in unique and different ways.
Yeah,
and
I mean, if Red Bulls do their deal, 9 months out of the year, you guys could too.
Oh, for sure.
That's awesome. What's your time frame? Like, what's a realistic goal for you guys to accomplish to get the theater where you need it to be?
Well, we're actively fundraising all of the time. I think we're definitely going to see things change in the next 5 years for sure. That would be my personal goal, so that we can really move the needle and create this place that's a venue at the top of the Central Rockies in Colorado and really pull from all kinds of audiences all over to experience the history and what the building was, but also elevate it to its next generation and next audiences to come and experience what we have here in Leadville.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let's get to the fun questions first. All right, because you have a really unique venue, and I think the answers to this could be interesting. What's one act, musical performance or however, dead or alive, that you would love to see on the stage at the Tabor Opera House?
Well, personally,
yes,
I am a big fan of all kinds of interesting musicians. We would love to see the likes of Billy Strings come through, or the Lumineers, who are a Colorado-based band, or Nathaniel Ratliff and the Night Sweats would be fantastic. I don't know if that's really realistic. We'll have to really see. We're in the midst of a business plan and doing a pretty broad survey to kind of see what is our price point once we are fully rehabilitated and reactivated, and how we can be unique and different. There's lots of places to experience music, particularly Colorado is just growing in its music scene. Just here in BV, where I live in Buena Vista, we've got the Surf Hotel and the Lariat, and they tend to have a lot of great music coming through. And Billy Strings, he's coming back for a second season for a big event in the fall.
Something better, bigger. Yeah.
I'd love us to see kind of go back, because the acoustics in the building are very unique. It was built at a time when people didn't have electronics and plugged in, and you just can experience it, and you can just basically hear a pin drop in that theater. I kind of think if we have a vibe where people are really coming back to that 1990s MTV Unplugged experience, or even being a stage for performers to record and explore what that looks like and push that out as an experience of an intimate setting where it feels as though you're almost in the artist's living room, would be really phenomenal experience.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. It's really, I'm not going to see it in the winter though. I'm just going to tell you that now.
Oh, come on, be daring. Come on up.
Come on up and slide all the way down to Denver. So fundraising, let's talk fundraising, because, and you guys, do you have this set up as a nonprofit entity?
Right. So the city owns the building, and we are in a 50-year lease with our foundation. So I work for the Tabor Opera House Preservation Foundation. We use that levers so that we know which way to go for money.
Yep. What are some of your upcoming fundraising opportunities that you have? What are some things that have worked really well in the past for you as well?
Sure. So I mentioned the business plan. We're launching that. We always are soliciting people to donate through our social media page and our website page, or just, get on our newsletter and list. In Colorado, we have Colorado Gives Day, which is just, at the beginning of the holiday season, kind of a final push to make your dollars go far in Colorado in your interests. And of course, we're always just looking to talk to people and have that one-on-one experience and connection and give them the real tour of the Tabor in all the nooks and crannies.
Very cool, very cool. Sarah, let's talk a little bit more about you. What was it that the city and the government there really saw? What is it that you think they saw in you that said, hey, Sarah is the person to take this project on? Because it's a big
That's a big question. And it's stepping into something a little bit terrifying. I'll tell you this. I've been in municipal work for a very long time, and I've made a lot of relationships, and it's all about that. That's key, and authenticity, and having an opportunity to talk about the nuts and bolts and the good and the bad, and not be shy to talk about what the real need is and being authentic. So I think that I represent that, but also I'm just tenacious, and I have the fire in me to see things get done. And I want to see this place preserved so that people can really experience beyond what they've been experiencing the last couple of decades.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it and giving us a little bit of insight as to what's going on in Leadville and the excitement that is around the Tabor Opera House. I'm looking forward to watching the progress as we go through there.
Thank you for the opportunity, Jake.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of